So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where West Arabia is real. If you don't know what West Arabia is, one, how dare you, and two, it is a fictional country from my fictional series, What If Civilization Started Over, which is currently on the 17th episode. It will be on the 18th episode tomorrow after you're seeing this. And I have someone here with me.
Hi.
So let's get started. So, West Arabia is the most powerful country in Wixo right now, so it being here, especially with the power of every land it's taken, it would be pretty strong. I mean, it has most of Eastern Africa, most of the Arabian Peninsula, some of Southeast Asia, and probably where they would find the most technology, this area in Australia. But we're just going to be focusing on the war side of things. So there are many countries that West Arabia borders that have been significantly weakened, like Saudi Arabia, South Sudan, Uganda, and these three, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. Why is there one island that's differently colored? So we're going to look for countries that still exist without a capital, such as South Sudan, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, all countries that have lost their capitals due to this country resurfacing. So, I'm going to go ahead and select those countries.
They're gonna die.
How could you tell?
Well, their capitals are gone. It's obvious.
Do a bit of chemical experimentation that has literally nothing to do with chemicals. And we're going to start from north to south, so starting up here, West Arabia is going to push in from the south into this mainly desert area and completely take it, as it is cut off from the rest of Saudi Arabia. And I could definitely give you a reason as to why this still exists. 1, Qatar. 2, East Arabia. Anyways, we see Saudi troops try and push into their old capital, but they fail and are pushed back by West Arabian forces. And if I ever call this country East Arabia, that's me being geographically dyslexic.
Oof.
So yeah, they're pushing into the desert, and they're pushing into like hell into the desert. And yeah, it's not pretty for them. Okay, it's not going to be good. Yeah, they capitulate. And then we see what is a Uganda? South Sudan is literally an anarchy in real life, and even more so in this scenario. So yeah, and they're gonna push up and with 2 spearheads to try and reach this major city, which is most likely the new capital of Sudan, and they take it, which will cause Sudan to surrender or capitulate, whatever. I don't know.
Sudan, you fought back and you still failed.
Zimbabwe, you thought you could get away with that? Anyways, yeah. So, yes, they're pushing in. West Arabia is pushing in. I never thought I would be saying that Arabia is pushing into Zimbabwe, but here we are.
Yeah.
only on the AheuDoesMapping channel. Also, what's happening here? Yeah, hope is completely lost for any countries, really. Because
Yeah.
this thing is a very large Indian Ocean empire, which could
Mm.
possibly influence how they expand, but that's not important right now, because right now we have to deal with the peace treaty, which will concern full annexation of all of these countries. Yeah, full annexation, no mercy is shown. But now we're going to see something a bit more local. Because
Ooh.
as we know, West Arabia's capital is on this coast here, so really anything that they do should really be focused around here, right? Right. You know what? Should they go after more? They go after more. So we see West Arabian troops push in from the border because they probably already had troops stationed here from just what their former eastern neighbor was. Go watch the series.
If you haven't, then why are you here?
Exactly! Yeah, they breeze around the coast and easily take the capital of Muscat, and they keep going around the coast and they capture Dubai, and then they capture Abu Dhabi. Dubai chocolate bars.
Yes.
Then they take these two with and this because that's 3 city states or micro states, and yeah, Jordan. There's no hope. Then it's just Iraq who remains. Well, then there's these. Yeah.
Iraq is just watching everything.
Iraq is just too busy trying to change their color into dark orange. Dark orange. Like scarlet.
Uh, okay.
If you don't understand, then one, you're colorically challenged, and two, if you do know what scarlet is, but you don't know what the reference is, bro, what? So they're pushing around the capital area. They're pushing it up into that lake. They're letting Kurdistan rebel, and they're capturing the capital and their peace treaty. So taking a look at this peace treaty here, we see the full annexation of all of the Arabian Peninsula countries and around half of Iraq, and making the rest of Iraq into a puppet state. We then see Thailand, yes, Thailand, and then Malaysia, and Singapore, and Malaysia again, and then Myanmar. And then I gotta redo all of those places again. Great.
Um,
So, oh, these two countries don't even have any major cities. So we see West Arabia push around and cut off Myanmar from the coast, and mainly use other countries' borders. And then they try and cut off this northern part of Myanmar, which they do so successfully, which will lead to that area surrendering. And then in Thailand, well, we see them cut off all of Myanmar from Thailand and Malaysia. And We see them capture the coast, and then Thailand will fall. And then they push into the rest of Thailand and into Malaysia. They make
There's a lot more death.
Yeah. So they make a reach for the capital of Malaysia, which they capture, and they push down to try and reach Singapore, which they capture.
Yeah, because Singapore is small.
And then they send out a navy boat to land here, which will land here, and will push around the island, capitulate Brunei, and do that. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. So taking a look at this peace treaty here, we see West Arabia completely conquer the Southeast Asian Peninsula parts of those countries. They leave the rest of Malaysia and all of Brunei to peace. And this is looking pretty good for them. But they're then going to send an ultimatum over to Mozambique and Eswatini to join their country, which they both will. And we then see them send an ultimatum over to Sri Lanka, who will also accept. And wow. But that peace is not to last for long because most of the African countries that border West Arabia, well, they form a coalition against West Arabia.
Oh,
So the most recent military activity in Africa was over here, so this is where their troops are. They're capturing this lake. They're doing pretty good. They're pushing into the DRC. They're doing good.
I feel like there's going to be a lot more death.
There's pushing into. They cut off Namibia's capital. Panhandle, not their capital. They push into South Africa and push over into Lesotho and capture the entire country.
Oof.
And yeah, it's looking good for the West Arabians so far.
Yep. There's going to be a lot more death.
Yeah. But, however, up here in the north, the same cannot be. Where we see Egyptian force. We see Egyptian forces. Dude. We see Egyptian forces push around these newly acquired land. What the We see Egypt push into recently gained lands here in Sudan. And they even make a land invasion. They even make a land invasion up here in the mainland of West Arabia. Egypt is clearly trying to do something.
They're trying to be the hero in this story.
However, that's not going to work because they're suddenly hit by a brick wall, and that brick wall is running. What exactly is that brick wall? It's the sheer amount of men that West Arabia has. Brr. Dude. Dude. Why is this happening to me? Okay. Okay. We're good.
Okay.
Yay. Alright. Yeah, that brick wall is really moving. Interesting. And then, they push into the Sinai Peninsula and capture the Suez Canal. They push around the Mediterranean coast. They capture Alexandria and push for Cairo, which they also capture, which will knock Egypt out of the war pretty easily.
Egypt tried to be the hero,
And they failed.
but they're only a
And now
casualty.
there's another strong country down here that's probably also going to fail.
Yeah.
We see the West Arabian forces push for Port Elizabeth, but the main goal is to get to Cape Town, which is one of the capitals for South Africa, because South Africa is weird.
South Africa has like 3 lives, like, geez, calm down.
One life is taken. Another life is taken. The last life still holds out. However, they push from Pretoria to Gaborone, the capital of Botswana, and take it. Botswana is knocked out of the war. Troops push in from the new foothold in Botswana. They push for Windhoek. They still push for Windhoek until they take it, which will knock Namibia out of the war and cut off South Africa, which will seriously do not good things for South Africa.
South Africa, your capitals are useless right now. Especially because 2 of them are dead.
South Africa has one capital left, which is their only major city left. South Africa is doing everything from one city. All their people are living in one city. All of their entire country is in one city. And that city is taken. And South Africa is knocked out of the war.
Finally.
We see a push made along the Angolan coast to try to capture Luanda, which will go successfully, and Angola will also fall. They will push to reach for the exclave of Angola and capture this major city as well as these two from the DRC. They push for this major city of the Republic of the Congo and cut off both Congos from any sea access. And they push against the Congo River and capture both Brazzaville and Kinshasa, knocking the ROC out of the war and severely weakening the DRC.
Uh-oh.
You know it's bad when I bring out a size 60 rush.
Yeah.
And then set it back to 15 like nothing happened.
Yeah.
We see Gabon get pushed into by West Arabian forces, and all three of Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, and Sao Tome and Principe are all captured.
There's a lot of casualties in this video.
We see the troops from Egypt push around the Mediterranean coast of Libya and capture Tripoli, which will knock Libya out of the war and allow them to push into Chad, as well as push into Chad and the car until eventually we see the DRC get cut off from the rest of their allies, which will cause them to. And then the car will lose their capital, which will lead them to capitulate. And then it was just Chad, who they're not actually very Chad at all.
They're probably gonna die.
They get pushed into from the south, and their capital is captured, and they capitulate. Now let's take a look at this peace treaty. Yeah, West Arabia owns like more than half of Africa at this point, and I think that is a sign that I should end the video. So be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, join the Discord server, check out the new collab channel that I made with the other person in this video, and have a good day.
Bye.